Korean branch? I know there was some kind of the trials or efforts by some Korean parents, and doctors.
So I looked into it because I was interested in, could I open a clinic in, and again, all of the clinics are independent. So my clinic is separate than Dallas, and my clinic is separate than Hawaii. Yes, I train the doctors, but I'm not, we're separate facilities.
So you don't control over them?
No, I don't look over them.
Okay.
So everyone gets protocol from Wave Neuro, but each individual doctor uses a protocol and practices in their own practice. So I don't watch over their patients or their treatments or their care. So Wave Neuro is the technology company.
It's a lab.
Yeah, Wave Neuro. And so I work directly with Wave just because we founded it together. So I work directly with Wave, but Wave creates the protocol, sends them out, but then each individual clinic is independently owned, and they use the protocol in their way. Yes, I train them how I do it in our practice, and because we've done it for so long, it's important my job is to share my experiences with them so that they can learn quickly. So I did I looked into Korea. So Wave wouldn't open up a clinic in Korea. An individual would have to open up a clinic. So I did look, but then it said, I don't think in Korea you can do telehealth. And I think in Korea, I would have to go back and do my residency. And so to get my license to practice there. So that I stopped. It was just too hard. But if a doctor in Korea wanted to open up a practice, and I know there was some interest in doing that, and I think people found a little bit of roadblock with, I don't know if you have an FDA. Getting just with customs, with the device and things like that. I don't know if there was a problem, but I know a couple of people that looked kind of stopped, or maybe it was just too hard to get it into Korea. I'm not quite sure. It was too hard for me because I can't practice there. But for them, I don't know what the problem was, or why it was difficult.
Yes, so there are so many parents who are very disappointed because there was a rumor that it's gonna be merged BTC branch, BTC clinic will be open in Korea. So everybody was so excited about it, and then I heard it just went nothing. About protocol that I want to actually ask you, as far as I understand, protocol can be different. I mean, it is different individual. The different individual have a different QEEG as I understand. So it's all tailor-made for different individual. Is that true? Or you have some basic protocol same, but it's a little bit different here and there? What is it?
How does it create it? So when we do the EEG, we're collecting information from the EEG, and the EEG has 21 little holes that we're collecting information from. So we're gathering information and we're kind of mapping out the brain, like what parts of the brain is firing, what parts are maybe firing too slow, or maybe never developed and not firing. So we do the EEG and the one lead KG because we need heart rate to create the protocol. So all of that information goes through a very complex algorithm, And that's where Wave Neuro can take that information from all of those electrodes in the EEG and the heart lead and create the protocol for that individual patient, location and frequency. So it's not a standard and we adjust it a little bit. It's more, it takes, every EEG is a different protocol.
Yeah.
So it's there's no real standard. Many times the locations are very similar, front and back.
Yes.
Because children with autism often lack development of frontal alpha. So we know that the front is where we need to stimulate, but the back is where the neurons originate. The firing originates in the back. So if we treat back and front, we get a more powerful response.
So basically back and front, that's a lot of parents actually, they said that the treatment is very simple, that is very similar, because to us, we are not professional. That's why that we just see what we see. So they said, it's basically same, that it's like, yeah, they do it here and they do it here, and there is some hertz difference, and basically it's a all standardized protocol. That's what a lot of parents actually said that, but because we are not professional, so when we see, it's very similar. That's why there's some rumors. Protocol is actually same. It just adjusted maybe individually. No, it's not. Okay, so that's actually my question.
And then, and then every 2 weeks we do another EEG, because the most important thing is, as the brain is changing, we have to change the protocol. The protocol needs to be updated. And so there is worry that you start. And we've had people who've taken they tell another TMS clinic, hey, stimulate me at this frequency, but they're not accounting for the brain changing, and they need to adjust.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's why we do the EEG every 2 weeks.
There is a question from the parents who received the MERT initially, a few weeks ago. They want to know, is it protocol to heal this EEG? Because apparently our autistic kids' EEG is very different from typically developing kids. So let's say it's abnormal EEG. Is it like you are healing this EEG, or it's just you send the signal to brain? This is let's say this is a normal signal, so you have to adapt this. So you send this signal to brain, and brain is just receive the signal, say, oh, I might have to change it. Am I translating right? But do you understand what I'm saying? Please, hopefully you understand.
So,
yeah.
So with children with autism, so when we are infants, our brain, the speed of our brains is slower. And as we, maybe around 3 years old, our brains start to develop faster speed called alpha. But if you do EEGs on infants, all infants, it normally has slower frequency, maybe 4 to 8 hertz. And as we get, as children go into toddler age, they start to develop alpha activity. And although the EEGs are not diagnostic, meaning we can't look at an EEG and say, oh, the EEG shows that this child has autism. You can't diagnose autism just by looking at the EEG. But we've seen, because, children aren't diagnosed with autism by EEG. It's not like cholesterol, and you say, oh, your cholesterol is 280. That means you have high cholesterol. Autism is not diagnosed by a lab test or imaging. It's diagnosed by clinical presentation.
Yes, that's true.
With the EEG, so the EEGs are not diagnostic, but I think we've done 20,000, 30,000 EEGs and thousands of children with autism. We see patterns. We know what children with autism, what their pattern looks like. It's pretty consistent. And so what we do is we with children with autism, they develop back of the brain alpha. The alpha back of the brain speeds up as other children, but the front of the brain, the alpha doesn't develop. They still stay very slow. And so we see this pattern repeatedly with children who already have diagnosis with autism. They come to us and we do an EEG and we see same pattern every time. So very sure that this pattern is consistent with autism. And all we're doing is we're taking, it's a magnet, but we send electrical, when the magnet, when a magnet is in a coil, it sends through an electrical, it's a magnetic field, but electrical pulse down to the brain. And those neurons pick up on the electrical signal and they start to fire with it. So we're just we're trying to get those neurons in the front that are slower to pick up the same speed as our stimulation.
Okay.
So we're retraining these neurons to we're pushing them and retraining them to start firing faster. Yeah, we're speeding them up. We're retraining.
You're speeding them up. Oh, okay. Training the EEG. Okay. So it's not healing or not that kind of terminology. It's more redirecting and speeding up.
Yeah, recruiting. So those neurons in the front, maybe they were firing at 6 hertz. And when we put the coil and we set it at, because, and we have to sync it with the rest of the brain. And let's say we set it at 10.5, we're trying to get those neurons in the front that are 6, and we're trying to speed them up to 10.5.
Ah, okay, I got it now. Hopefully that they understand, and I probably help them to give the answer to their questions. There's another one. It's my son. His name is Zio because I'm Zio mom. CF, and he's IgG, the allergy, that's avoiding the diet. So he's on that diet, and I can see massive progress. That's why that a lot of parents, especially who believe in like what I do believe, so what they do is they are on even strict diets while they're receiving MERT. Do you think this is actually more help the MERT input?
We haven't really studied that specifically. We have a lot of children who follow strict diets. We have many children who don't follow strict diets.
Yes.
And we haven't really seen that those who do follow strict diets have better improvement.
Oh, okay.
But then, we haven't really seen that. But then again, maybe, it's hard to know unless you do a formal study. But we haven't seen that following a strict diet, but maybe those that aren't following a strict diet, they don't have, the gut issues that others do.
Exactly,
that could be a possibility. And so, that's interesting that you say that. We haven't seen that relationship, but I can't say that it's, not going to help. People are always trying to maximize what they can do. To optimize the treatment. And if, he has a lot of symptoms related to gut, if we can control that, then the body can work on, changing the brain and doesn't have to worry so much about controlling the gut. So I think it's a good thing.
It's a good thing, but you really don't recommend, or because it's not your area, while patients receiving MERT, you don't really recommend or mentioning about this?
Yeah, we don't. When we first started, we had a lot of children who were following a very strict diet. And at that time, a lot of the, especially at Wave, they weren't seeing such a big connection. So they were saying, no need. Don't even, don't worry about restricting the diet. Let's just do the, and we're seeing good results without restriction.
Yes.
But it'd be interesting to see if those that follow a very strict diet have better results. I haven't seen it, but although I haven't been, studying it. So we haven't, followed that specifically.
Yeah, I think it's individually that's very different. There is another question. Okay, I'm sure you're accepting patients like 4 years old above, if I'm right.
We accept 3 and above.
3 years and above. Is there any special reason or any age you would recommend? Do you have any recommendations or any data?
Younger the better.
The younger is the better.
Yeah, the younger the better because we get them sooner, and the brain. We have more time. We have, brain development isn't so fixed, and so we can change easier when they're younger. The average age that we used when we first opened in 2013, around then was about age 7, 8. Because people were coming to us after they tried everything else. And then they come to us. But then now people hear about us pretty early. So they come before diagnosed. Age 3, 4, they're already coming to us. So we have seen good success, whether they're 7, whether they're 3. Right around we get to maybe 12, it gets a little bit more challenging. We also,
okay.
Yeah, that's when we have like hormones and puberty, and there's a lot of other factors that can be influencing behavior, and it's a little bit more challenging, although we do see benefit. We know that the brain can change. We treat adults, but when the brain hasn't developed, that's when we want to get them younger. So the younger the better. Age 7 is an ideal age, but if we can get them earlier, even better.
Oh, so the ideal age is 7, but now you believe is the younger is the better, or actually the younger is the better? So 3 years is the best.
We can get them early. We can get them. I would love to see them at 3, 4, but. We'll take them when we can.
Okay. Because it's one of the BTC clinic, I think it's in Miami. They even accept 2 years old. It's like really small baby to me.
Yeah.
What do you think of why just the minimum age is 3 in Newport, and then 5 years old is the minimum age in Dallas? So is that very much an age difference? Is there any
is it 5 now?
Yeah. Is there any reason why there are so many different ages?
Yeah, so we've taken a couple before age 3, like 2 years and 9 months. We have. It's early. I mean, children are just getting diagnosed usually around 18 months. So it is very early. So it's not a cutoff. We don't say 3. If you're under 3, we won't take you.
Okay.
We will. Yeah, it's a comfort level of the doctor. I think Dr. Miller used to be age 6 because he's an adult neurologist. So he started in 2018, 2019.
Okay.
He wasn't comfortable with children at that time. Then I think maybe now he's maybe open to taking a little bit younger.
Okay. Is this only doctor's experience? It's nothing to do with the brain. It's not right for the mode. It's nothing like that.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. It's the doctor's experience and the doctor's comfort. And I worked with Dr. Lee, who's a pediatrician. And then just over time, we get more and more comfortable. So it's really it's not the brain, it's really the doctor's comfort level and experience with the children.
Is it because that maybe babies, they really don't understand instruction? They don't like to wear the cap, and they probably screaming, and maybe it's very difficult for doctor to get a QEEG right. Is that the reason?
If you're an adult doctor and you're treating children, at first it's very uncomfortable. So I think that's part of the reason. But I mean, our clinics have treated children. That's almost more than half of our patients are children. So it's really they do a very good job with our children getting the EEG recording that we need. And so it all also depends on experience of the technicians too.
Okay, I see. Because there's so many questions about, is my kid too young? He's only 3.5 years, because some clinics only accept 4 years above and 3 years above. So that's why a lot of parents ask that questions. But thank you so much to clear the questions. Actually, that's about it. Thank you so much. It's such a long time. I'm very sorry to keep you for such a long time.
It's okay. I am here for you. Yeah, I am here. If you have any questions, let me know.
안녕하세요. 지오맘입니다. 여기까지가 BTC 뉴포트 지점의 원장 선생님이신 줄리킴 의사 선생님과의 인터뷰였습니다. 제가 줌 통화로 1시간이 훨씬 넘게 통화를 했었는데 중간에 편집한 부분 그리고 오프 레코드로 해달라고 하셨던 부분을 제가 삭제하고 편집이 이렇게 되었습니다. 인터뷰 후에 제가 잘못 알고 있었거나 또는 몰랐던 멀트 부분에 대해서 정말 명확하게 설명을 해주셔서 저는 도움이 많이 되었습니다. 저희 오티즘 부모님들께서도 도움이 많이 되셨길 바라고요. 영상 말미에 언제든지 질문할 게 있으면 물어보라고 하셨던 거는 진심이셨어요. 그래서 가끔씩 저에게 연락을 하시고 또 멀트에 대해서 부족했던 부분을 또 이메일로 적어 주셨어요. 너무 감사한 일입니다. 아무래도 한국에서 멀트 치료 받기가 힘든 한국 부모님들을 위해서 소통의 채널로 저에게 연락을 주신 것 같습니다. 저번 영상 댓글로 질문 주신 분들은 제가 잘 메모를 하고 있어요. 네, 언제가 될지 모르겠지만 열심히 노력을 해보겠습니다. 제 실력도 좀 많이 좋아지길 바랍니다. 긴 영상 시청해주셔서 감사드립니다. 행복하세요.